The European individual 15th individual championship. Motylev Alexander is just won versus Eljanov Pavel. This was one of his greatest challenges. Second seed Pavel Eljanov 2723 Grandmaster was playing black. Motylev, instead of playing safe, he went for full blown out attack, and he has increased his lead to a full point with a performance rating of 2918. It was a Sicilian Taimanov. The game started e4 by Motylev. Pavel played c5, knight c3, e6, knight f3, knight c6, d4, d takes, c takes d, knight takes d4, queen c7, bishop e3, a6, queen d2, knight f6, white castles, queen side, bishop e7, f3, b5, king b1, h5. This is a novelty. In the description, there was a game, Ivanchuk versus Wang in Beijing 2013. Here, Blake played knight takes d4 instead of h5, and Ivanchuk won that game. So h5 was a new move. Motylev played knight takes c6, d takes e5. Eljanov played knight d5. Another game, because this is a pawn sacrifice, the queen can take on e5. In the database there are 3 games. One game is Erdogdu versus Dziuba-Pardubice 2005. The game continued, queen takes e5, bishop d4, queen c7, queen g5, rook g8, bishop e5, queen e7, queen g3, with lots of pressure for the sacrifice pawn for white. I've put 4 games with reference to this e5 pawn push variation, which you can look at. White has got enough compensation because black can castle king side and the king is stuck in the center for the sacrifice pawn on e5. But continuing our game, Eljanov played knight d5. He didn't take the pawn. Motylev took the knight. C takes d and f4. Black played bishop d7. Eljanov played g3, opening up for fianchettoing of the bishop on f1, taking care of the long diagonal from g2 to a8. Rook c8, bishop g2. Play continues with the king side, queen side attack with a5, preparing either bishop b4. or even a pawn storm with the pawns. Black plays bishop d4. Black continues with the pawn storm on the queen side, and white starts his own with f5. With that is like f6 in the way. Black plays e takes d. Motylev could have taken the pawn on d5, but moves like, let's say, bishop e6, and moves like c4 are quite playable for white. So he went for the more unbalanced e6, targeting the pawn on g7. Pawn takes, bishop takes g7. Computer evaluation still gives a clear advantage for black in this position, but it's for human play it's absolutely not so easy, because the black's king is stuck in the center, and levels of accuracy are needed for black to prove that he's got a clear advantage. Black played rook g8. One option would have been rook h7. Then play would continue, let's say, like bishop d4 and a4, with a clear advantage for black. But he played rook g8, and bishop retreated to bishop d4. He played a5. The alternative would have been a4, h4, with play like queen e2, controlling the b5, the white from f1 to a6, tying up the pawn on e6 so that black doesn't play e5. But black continued a4. White played bishop f3, threatening the pawn on h5. Black tries to open up the queen side with a3. White played rook h to e1, and Pavel played queen c6. Alternatively, he could have played queen d6, and play would have continued queen h6, rook c7, giving an escape route for the king on d8 to c7, and play would continue, maybe let's say like queen h7, with a slight advantage to white. Very dynamic game. But after queen c6, white played queen e2. Alternatively, you could have played, let's say, c4. If queen takes c4, that's a blunder, because white can play bishop h5 check, king d8, bishop can now go on b6 with a check, rook c7, and that after take bishop f7, definitely white would win this one. Another alternative is, let's say, if black plays pawn takes c3 after c4, play would continue, bishop takes, rook g5, protecting the pawn on h5. Then there's a sack on d5 with bishop takes. If e takes, there's this combination: rook takes e7, and after that queen takes g5, rook d6, and bishop b4, rook c1. Then black loses the queen. So after bishop takes, the best move will be queen takes, e takes d, and you can recover the bishop with bishop f6 with clear advantage to white. But in this game, white played queen e2. Black went for rook g4, sacrificing the exchange. Using a computer, it prefers king f8, and then if bishop takes, opens up the king side, the queen side, and bishop takes, and it's with an equal position, but still very murky, absolutely unclear. So Pavel gives the exchange. So Motylev took, and he played b3. Pavel played bishop c5. Interestingly, the move king f7 is worth looking at. Equal and not so many breakthroughs for white, so he went for bishop c5. Motylev played c3. He took the pawn, bishop took the pawn, and he played bishop f2, trying to get the exchange. Better would have been queen d6, because what happened now is after bishop f2, white took. This could have been the losing move, this bishop f2. White took, queen takes. Now he loses the pawn on d5. The king went on to move to king e7. He played queen d2. Better would have been queen e2. Threatening rook takes e7 and queen takes e6. But he played queen d2. The queens were swapped. He played bishop c6. Alternatively, rook c7 would have been possible, but after rook c1, rook a7, rook c5, is with threats like b4, and then rook a5, you will have a pass pawn, and the pawn on a3 will be lost. So after bishop c6, rook c2, king d6, rook d1 check, king e7, king c1, white is an exchange up, so it's just a bit of exchanging and pushing the b past pawn and taking the pawn on a3. Black played e5, b4, f4. He went for a deflection with b5. Bishop pawn cannot be taken because he loses the rook. Bishop e7, rook takes, rook d3, f3. The king is in time to stop the pawn on f3. Bishop b7, b6, and Black resigned, so Motylev is now a full point ahead of the rest of the guys. So Motylev is playing very well in this tournament. Thank you, hope you enjoyed this.